How do science and spirituality work in tandem?
The spirituality is about truth. It's not about beliefs, it's about truth. And what the scientists are doing is helping us find deep truths. And one of the things they have found, which is really amazing to me, is that by the time they look past the atoms, past the molecules, past the electron, neutrons, and protons, they find this thing called the quantum field, which is pure light. And the scientists are literally telling us what spirituality has told us for a long time, which is the whole thing is made of light. Now, when you hear that spiritually, you question, how can every single thing I see be made of light? Your scientists are telling you that when they got down there to the quantum field, that there is no form. It's really just waves of energy, pure light, and they can explain how you go from that light to the subatomic particles that make the electron, neutrons, and protons. And so to me, that just blows my mind. I'm sorry, right? That we now have scientists telling us what spirituality has told us from the beginning of time, which is it's all made of light.
I love this section where you talk about clinging and suppression. It's what causes us to lose touch with the magnificence of life and creation. That you use the example of how we react to a butterfly or to a rattlesnake. So can you explain this idea of clinging and suppression?
Right. Well, it starts with, and the book goes into great detail, as you know, it starts with, where did mine come from? All right. And what you realize is that the world is coming in, it comes into your senses, and normally it flows all the way back into this deep experience of wholeness and fullness you experience. And then what happens is the self, the consciousness, that which is in there, doesn't always be comfortable with everything that comes in. And so instead of experiencing it and letting it pass, it resists it and holds it away from itself. Or if it really liked it, it clings to it and holds it. And that result is that's how you build the personal mind, by holding these thoughts and experiences inside the mind instead of letting them come all the way through and having a full experience. They used to call it a gestalt, all right? That it would just come all the way through. So basically, when you cling or you resist, you started to build a mind instead of reality. Reality already passed through. The rattlesnake's gone, the butterfly's gone, but not inside of you. You held it inside of you. And that becomes a challenge to the real world, that you're more interested in the stuff you held on to in your mind, in your psyche, than you are in what's happening in front of you at that moment. And that's where you get lost. And that's what I call the fall from the garden. Because now you're not dealing with God, you're not dealing with reality, you're dealing with your thoughts.
You write about 3 techniques for freeing ourselves: positive thinking, having a mantra, witness consciousness. Let's talk about positive thinking first. You write about a simple, healthy exercise we can do every time we have a negative thought. I think this is fantastic. What is it?
It is every time you have a negative thought, which is to me, I call those automatic thoughts. They're just coming by themselves. You didn't make it happen. It just came up by itself. You can replace it willfully with a positive thought. So if your mind all of a sudden says, I don't want to see David, he hurt me last time, just sit there and say, I'd like to work out with David, our problem. I don't want to be like that. Just you willfully replace the negative thought, which is just an automatic thought of your suppressed stuff releasing itself. Replace it with a positive, willful thought, and it will change your life.
I think, I tell people to have a shelf, a storage of positive thoughts that you can go to when the negative stuff shows up. Do you do that?
To the extent, if I have a problem with my mind, which of course is much better after 50 years, but I hope, but if I have a problem with my mind and it's not just going through, all right, I will change what it's saying to a positive thing. I use the example in the book. Let's say it's hot. You just walk around, oh, it's so hot. Oh my God, I'm dying. It's so hot. That's ridiculous. What good is that to say that inside your mind? It just makes you miserable, right? And so I have my mind say, there's a sun 93 million miles away, a star. It's close enough, 93 million miles away. It is so hot that you're complaining about feeling its heat. That's amazing, right? In Miami, I'm in Florida, 350 miles away from Miami. How hot would a fire have to be for me to feel it in Gainesville, Florida? The whole town would have to be on fire. I don't think I could ever do it. And this thing's 93 million miles away, and you're complaining that you feel the heat? You should be rejoicing. It's a miracle. It's amazing. That's how science can help you, by the way, all right? By bringing reality into the show instead of your stupid little personal complaints.
You also mentioned mantras. You believe in mantras. How do mantras help us?
It's basically saying you can replace your negative thoughts with a positive thought, but that's a lot of work, okay, to do that all the time. You can also, have you ever noticed that you can have a song going on in your mind by itself that you can't even stop if you try to?
Right.
What if instead of a song, it was saying, I love God, or I'm the happiest person in the world, and the happiest person in the world. That's a mantra too, by the way. All right? I'm always okay. I'm always okay. And that got instilled in a deeper layer of your mind than the one that's doing the silly talking, right? And the next thing you know, it's going on all the time. It's just sitting there reminding you without any effort. You don't have to replace it with a positive thought. It's already going on in there because you just repeated it over and over again during your meditation time or during driving.
Yeah. My favorite that I've taught my girls over the years is, things are always working out for me.
There you go.
Things are always working out for me because things always do.
That's
and
right.
I think if most people listening to us right now, if you're still here, if you're still standing and you're a full-blown adult and been through some stuff, things are always working out for you. So that is one that you can repeat to yourself and actually believe.